Hello, Mr. Thirdy Amata. Good afternoon. Thank you for lending us
Good
your
afternoon.
time today. But I want to know, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well, as our life is hard lately, but still fighting.
I'm so glad that you are here through this Zoom video call. The topic is about the quarter life crisis that we experience during mid 20s and early 30s. And I know you really have a say when it comes to this topic. So, my first question is, do you think it's normal for everyone to go through quarter life crisis?
Actually, everyone has something to say with quarter life crisis because in our age right now, we've been through a lot. And even in our younger days, we actually experience that kind of crisis. It might not be quarter life. However, there are like confusions as to where to go, what your goal is, what your course to be taken with, or whatnot. So those are actually the crises that we are facing. However, sometimes the depth of the question, or like, it's like you are swimming underwater, so you are afraid to go to the unknown. And when time is actually um like you are fighting with time itself, it really hits a big impact to your existence. Actually, quarter life crisis, I can really relate it to existentialism, like existential crisis, of which you question your meaning here on this planet. So basically it goes along with questioning or asking about what you can do in the future and what you can do today to actually like know yourself better, because sometimes we need to have that kind of understanding towards ourselves, because sometimes confusion that is actually pinpointed to what we are now today, it's actually questioning what we can do tomorrow. For example, me in my end, I experienced that one because after I graduated college, there are so many questions as to which path I will gonna take. So I'll do I need to take law after my college, or do I need to take masters or whatnot? Those are actually the challenges. However, along the way, you need to be open with the opportunities, because sometimes the future holds great possibility. And for you to take on the challenge, you need to be open and understanding as to what you can do as to the current situation, and not focus to the future.
Okay, thank you for that very wonderful insight during the first question. I think it's all done. But still, I would like to ask if there is a specific step or formula you can give to everybody so they can go past through it, or they can overcome or endure that phase in their life.
Actually, there are so many structured formulas that you can actually go with. However, it's really different when you experience something and you apply that particular theory towards your life. So, in that very perspective, you need to actually understand what you are going through before you take another step. So, along the way, experience, or like in our end, it's like the terminology of experience is really vital for you to understand the situation you're in, and also to actually get the grasp as to the weight of that particular situation. So when you say the weight of that particular situation, it is like the crisis or the challenges that you are encountering. Like what's the next step in the future? What's the hindrances that is actually holding you back? It might be the loved ones that, I mean, like the extra baggages that you are carrying with, or maybe the emotions that has not been lifted because you're still holding to it, or maybe some challenges, sometimes most of us, like financial problems. So that, I mean, like it's actually affecting the way we perceive things, because sometimes money, though money is like we have this mantra which we don't really need money in everything, but the thing is money is everything. So in that very um best formula, just go with times. Though it's really cliche to say go with the flow, but the thing is that is life. In order for you to survive, you need to be flexible. You need to be versatile in every challenges that will actually go along the way. It's like the waves that you can see in the ocean. It is uncertain, so the future itself holds indefinite possibility. So you need to project, or you need to claim it yourself, and also like lessen the expectations, because in like midlife crisis, like when you are challenged with time itself, you can see some of your brothers and sisters who are actually marrying, who already have like childrens or whatnot, who already have houses, and their success stories are more likely different from yours. But the thing is, you have your own path to take. So yeah, so basically in our end, you just need to be flexible enough to handle all the pressures in life. And as you can see, we've been through different situations, and I know, and we know, that we have different approaches as to what we can do for us to pass it. And it's really not hard for you to ask actually help. So there are actually two formulas for that in my end. All right. So
Mm-mm.
go with the and do not ask. I mean, do not hesitate to ask help, because
Mm-mm.
I realized that a long time ago, of which in my end, I don't really ask help, because what I have in my mind is that we all have problems. We all have this is like certain situations of which we need to actually like face that off without the help of others. But the thing is, it's really not hard. I mean, like it's really good to actually ask help, advices, or someone just to hear you, like to hear your problem, because it is actually like lifting your spirit and despite the challenges. So you need to have that kind of relationship towards others, so that you can go and foresee a much wider perspective, because sometimes when you isolate yourself, you also isolate your perspective in what options are you gonna. So you need to also open your mindset about that one.
Mm-mm. Okay. So the two formulas that you've said is number one, go with the flow and ask for help. Ah, okay. I also like that you mentioned about being versatile and flexible, because I myself are also doing that. Okay, so my third question is, it might be something personal, just a bit. Have you
No,
experienced
no worries.
Thank you. Have you experienced it yourself, the quarter life crisis?
So many times. I mean,
Oh.
like after graduation, there are so many questions, like questions about. In my end, as a philosophy student, I have so many questions, like philosophical questions, like what's the meaning of my life here on Earth, like that.
Mm-mm.
So, like, I think it's like a normal thing for me to actually unravel. It's like unwrapping a gift, so that in my end, I will not be sure. I mean, like a surprising perspective as to what you can do towards that situation. And the important thing is you need to be positive in order to handle that one. Because in my end, you know already, right? That uh, yes, aside from the crisis, I mean, like the quarter life crisis, are also like I mean, if it's okay to share, we just broke up with my 4 years in
Oh,
relationships.
that is so sad to hear.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. So yeah, sometimes emotion actually take a toll in terms of your perspective or your mindset towards things, because sometimes it really affects how you take on challenges. So in my end, I take it positively. So you just need to actually refocus, reorient yourself as to what is important. Is it your family? Is it your loved one? Or I mean, like, is it the other person, or is it the friends that you are in right now? So you just need to refocus and head on the challenge and be flexible. So that is actually how I handle all those struggles in my end, considering that I'm 29. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm 28. I'm turning
Mm-hmm.
29. So I have so many questions in mind, like um after graduation, 4 years then, I am seeing some of my colleagues are now attorney. I mean, like taking bar. Some of them already have a family. Some of them have like success stories that they can tell to the world. However, I don't have mine. But the thing is, you need the important part there is you need to like commit to yourself and be happy as to what you have right now, because we have our own perfect time. So yeah.
So are you saying that you are already done with that phase of your life, or you're still in it trying to figure out everything?
Actually, Bianca, to be honest with you, quarter life crisis is like a term for us to actually define the depth of what we are in right now. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's good to understand the situation. I mean, like when you started your younger age, you have so many questions in life, like what if I will go old? What will happen to me? Something like that. Those are the crises that we're actually facing. So it's just actually the what matters there is just the depth of the waters that we are actually swimming. So considering that again, time is our um enemy, because we are not going any younger. So we need to try hard for us to actually reach our goal. So yes, it's like if you were like to give it I mean like to understand it deeply, it is just like a cycle of which you need to critically analyze what you are in, because since the beginning of time, in order for you to survive, you need to be flexible, correct? So
Mm-mm.
you need to have that hunch in your end that you need to uncover all the potentials of the possibility that you can actually get in the future by not expecting something out of it. So just do your 100% in every work that you are doing right now. Like if you are taking masters, you are doing your work. If there are opportunities, always be open and always weigh if the opportunity is actually giving you an advantage or whatnot. So yeah, um, like being in crisis is like a lifetime problem that we need to solve. And it's just that like in your 20s or in your teenage years, because we all face those crises like in our lifetime itself.
Mm, I see. So, what is your advice to your younger self, or do you have any regrets?
For me, no, because what I am
Wow.
now
Mm-mm.
built by those challenges or crises that I've been through. So I'm so happy that I've been through a lot. So I can say that I am a little bit stronger than before. So I just need to actually like we are actually like a not perfected diamond. So we need to actually like still rub something on it for us to shine, and it's like a lifetime challenge.
Mm-mm. Um, when you're feeling down or sad, what is your outlet? Do you share to anyone or any group?
Um, first I don't. Yeah, I don't have that mantra that I don't want to share it. However, first stage for me to actually like cope up with a problem is I will face it by myself. Then if I cannot handle it, that's the time that I will actually talk to my tita or my friends about it. I just want them to listen, not to give advices, because sometimes it's really actually beneficial for you to listen to someone than to give advices.
I so agree with that. And actually, there are a lot of websites too, or even government agencies that offer help for those people, especially those
Correct.
who have suicidal thoughts. So,
Correct.
Yeah, that is so that is so nice to hear that you are very open to other people, especially when it is so heavy. And my last question would be,
Sure.
how do you see your future? Or are you afraid to face your future? Are you contented with your current job, or you still have plans to pursue anything?
I still have plans. However, what actually strikes me the most, like in my age right now, is to actually focus on the present. Then I have this mindset that
Mhm.
everything will actually go is if you will just do great in your day-to-day activities. Because sometimes the way we think about the future, like we do have this goal in life and we want it to be like this, to be like that. It is actually giving us pressure, like internal pressure that we can actually control. However, we just put that pressure to actually pressure ourselves and more likely destabilize our emotions because we cannot get that, we cannot get those results. So basically, in the end, I'm trying to focus myself as to the present, as to what I can do today. Then I believe that every step that I am actually taking is redirected to the kind of result that I want to happen in my life. Because once you set a goal, it's actually good to have a goal, which is like a map for you to achieve with. However, sometimes it has its own disadvantages, and what matters the most is how you handle it. So it matters. It's very subjective. So in my end, I'm trying to focus on what I can do today, and I believe that everything is redirected to what will come in the future. That's how I actually try to set my mind out to things in the future.
Mm. One last question. Sorry.
And
Um, how finally this will be the last. How will you convince a teenager or a young professional to open up to a person or to a group?
actually, how
Yeah, like
it's
what?
hard.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I I mean, in my end, I don't have the right to actually like pop the bubble of that particular person for them to share their problems to me.
Mm-mm.
So it's their prerogative to actually open up with that person because sometimes what I have in mind actually when I was in an organization, for you to easily open up with someone, you need to establish like a safe space for them to open to you. Correct. So you need to establish trust for them to share because sometimes trust is very vital for you to actually give that empathy towards that person. And also, it is one way for them to actually open up to you in that particular matter because sometimes there are problems that we can actually share and it's hard for you to pop that bubble because they may take it in a wrong way and they may react in a wrong manner because mind is very powerful and you can really need I mean you can really read minds, right? So you need to understand each and everyone as to how they cope up with a problem from their behavior, from how they approach you, from their physical appearance. You can actually see that and you can actually feel those emotions in that manner. And yes, as I said earlier, the important thing is you need to establish a safe space for them to actually open up to you. It's not an advice for them, but an advice to a certain person or certain people who is actually close to that person is actually troubling or maybe encountering quarter life crisis to establish that kind of trust. For that person is actually suffering to open up and to ask help or advice from you.
Thank you for all those wonderful insights. Um, from all those words that you said, I think it's the empathy that
Yes, correct.
caught my attention. It's the empathy that we all need to understand each other. So,
Correct.
yeah, thank you so much for your time. And I learned a lot from this interview, though it's just a Zoom video call. And hopefully, it will be personal in the future. It will be, yeah,
Soon.
it will be face to face interview in the future.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Sir Thirdy Amata.
Thank you so much also, Mary.